Is the mic on? There it is. All right, got the mic working. Hey, I just want to bring you guys a quick update and let you know that I will actually be making a video here soon, and it's going to end up being uploaded on another channel. And I'll go ahead and pin the channel name in the description or in the pinned comment. You guys can check it out. But a buddy of mine, he called me, and he's here in Florida, and he lives on the opposite end of Florida. He lives on the Atlantic coast, the East Coast. And he's probably more likely to be impacted by Hurricane Idalia than we are here, despite being in the Panhandle. But regardless, he calls me and he tells me, hey, have you heard about the recent lockdowns coming? And honestly, I thought he was kind of playing around. I thought he was kind of joking with me about asking this question. And then we started talking more about it. So he's actually in the process of, he was handling some utility payments or something with the utility company in his area over in Boynton Beach, Florida. And he said he walked into the building and they had what looked like new social distancing and plexiglass and different things like that. And he goes, I didn't really think anything of it. It was a government building. I assume maybe this was just old stuff that they didn't take down from before. And I haven't been inside of a government building or utility company or anything like that for years. So I don't know. Maybe this isn't new. It looked new, but he goes, maybe it just aged well and they just never took it down. Lazy government employees. I'm not saying that he said they were lazy. I'm just saying, the idea that the government employees just didn't do it. So either way. And I was like, well, we have heard talks about it, but I don't know anything more than that. And honestly, I wouldn't think that Florida would be leading the charge here in lockdowns are coming preparation or distancing or plexiglass or separation or whatever it may be. And then we get into the conversation of getting sick. And obviously the virus that people were getting sick from in 2020, 2021, and how there's a new variant. Now, this actually ties into our potluck dinner last night. He wasn't there, but different friends. And we were on that topic of discussion as well, that conversation where they actually told us that someone they knew recently took a test just to see, and they came back negative. So that's a plus. But there's essentially these talks of this new variant going around, which there's also talks of lockdowns coming and mask mandates and all sorts of other stuff. And then my buddy in Boynton Beach, he says, well, then I received an email with a bunch of information, like a 50 or 500 word essay. It's a 500 word essay on essentially what's about to happen. Now, granted, we have talked about this a little bit here in the past few days about the possibility and things that, some folks have been saying. Nicole Schwab, which is Klaus Schwab's daughter, Bill Gates, and everybody else involved, doing their thing behind the scenes and this, that, and the other. But also, Yahoo News put out some article, which obviously we can't necessarily put a ton of faith in what Yahoo says. But apparently some school in Atlanta has issued mask mandates and some film studio in Los Angeles has issued mask mandates. I don't know if there's any truth behind this. I don't know if this is in fact what's about to happen. I don't know if lockdowns are actually coming. But I do know that there is an intense push right now for this to be a discussion, for this to be a talking point, for this to be a trend, for this to be a fear. Obviously, people are not going to be excited about this, and they're not going to embrace this and ultimately welcome it. But then also, we're leading into this period of time where we're going to have to make a choice and decision on, who's going to get our vote for this next presidential election. And this could be that hot button, of we're going to, the country's going to be shut down. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's a push, because obviously that's going to happen. It's going to be pushed by the administration, which would then allow other candidates to come in and say, no, we're going to lift the mandates. We're going to put an end to the lockdowns, which would ultimately allow them a better chance of gaining votes. Unless I am completely off base and there's a large portion and percentage of the population that actually wants lockdowns and mask mandates and social distancing and things like that. I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but hey, I've been wrong before. But my buddy, he actually tells me, he goes, if this actually happens, this could be tremendous for my business, for real estate, as a real estate professional, as a real estate agent, and not just him, all over the country. Because essentially, if the country were to get shut down again, highly unlikely, but if the country were to get shut down again, then people are going to go back home. They're not going to be in offices. They're not going to be working. If we're going to get swept with this new wave of sickness and illness, unless Pfizer already has the antidote already ready to go, and they're going to release it through chemtrails or something, then odds are people are going to go back to work. Working from home, go back to working from home, working remote. At a time where we really haven't truly recovered from the first wave, the first hit, the first blow, it would be a devastation. It would be a devastation. And that's just in this country. If it goes global, then, all hell's going to break loose. And yeah, we would probably see that dollar collapse and, CBDC and BRICS and all that stuff taking over. And you would definitely want to have a heavy concentration of gold, physical gold for sure, and silver at the very least. But he said it would be fantastic. It would be tremendous for his business. Hey, it would be tremendous for YouTubers. You got to think, if we were to see the possibility of lockdowns coming and mask mandates and social distancing and, pandemic 2.0, essentially it would be pandemic 2.0. All the YouTubers who know how profitable pandemic 1 was, they'll go all in on pandemic 2 and just destroy it. Like, it would be epic. And then Rumble might even actually take off at that point. Twitter would be a madhouse. And the amount of misinformation and parody news and satire and just false headlines and titles and thumbnails and conversations would be unbelievable. The world would literally light itself on fire. It would be epic. But before all that, people would be buying houses again. People would be, trying to get whatever real estate they could and potentially looking to relocate and move to an area that won't be at high risk of concentration of disease and spreading of disease, but also affordability, decent internet connection, and then they can work remotely from wherever they want. That's pretty much how it would play out, in my opinion. And, obviously the states and the countries that are going to be more lenient and flexible with their requirements and mandates versus some of these, left-leaning, liberal states and some of these countries that would prefer you to live inside of a bubble, basically, and not have any contact with the outside world. Wear a mask on top of a mask on top of a mask. Inject yourself with so many different things that you don't even know what they are. And I think people would definitely steer clear of that and move away from that. But the caveat being pandemic 2.0, you're not going to see a stimulus check. You're not going to see free money from the government. You're not going to see any support. You're just going to see a lockdown. And you're just going to see a lockdown like before without the support, because they know the financial impact that has long term. Jerome Powell would literally step up and put his foot down and say, no, we're not going to let this happen. As far as printing money and turning the money printer back on and giving people unemployment boosts and paying people not to go to work. So pandemic 2.0, if the lockdowns are really actually coming, which we're going to discuss in great detail on Chris's channel. So like I said, I'll pin it in the comment section, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. And maybe this is going to be an ongoing conversation and discussion as new developments are released. And he himself actually seeing it happen in Florida, which I cannot believe. Maybe what he saw was in fact old and dated. But if what he saw is in fact new, and you have folks in Florida actually taking a proactive step to initiate mask mandates and social distancing and plexiglass and separators and barriers and hand sanitizer out the wazoo, That's not good. That's like if Florida's leading the charge on that, the same state that, obviously you saw Ron DeSantis on the Republican presidential debate, the same state that was open, that stayed open during these times and, allow businesses to stay in business and operational and, schools to be open and this, that, and the other. To see Florida leading the charge with that. Now, I can't say that this utility company is, in fact, Florida. It's just in Florida. So maybe they have influence outside of Florida that, as company-wide has, required them to do this. But I don't know. Maybe there is some truth to it. Or maybe there's not. Maybe this is all a false alarm and they're just kind of blowing smoke and, gaslighting everybody to get everybody riled up over the idea that it could happen. For whatever reason it may be, they have their agenda. They have their agenda. It's typically primarily focused on control and fear, and then money, of course. So either way, stay tuned. Check me out. Check us out. Again, it'll be on Chris's channel, and maybe we'll have a follow up on this channel. But I just wanted to let you guys know what I heard, what I think, and ultimately what's happening next. And that is a discussion, a chat, a reaction, a deep dive into it. And maybe even Squirrel Tribe will be there with us too. We'll see.